Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about how Eric and I met and how after 10 years of being together, everything is honestly than better than ever, really. You might notice in the last few days, everything in my room, everything out there has been packed away. You might have noticed in the other videos. And that's because we're moving, and I said this a month ago, I think. But we're moving in the same building, so it's not like a massive deal. But it's cheaper, nicer apartment, so it's really good. It all worked out well, having to leave so sudden. But today is our last day here, and I thought, we would kind of talk about our relationship in a way that it's been 10 years and we're going strong and everything's great in that sense. And things are looking up, things are getting better and better. I kind of just wanted to tell you about our love story. I don't really like calling it that. I think that's kind of weird, but I know my mom likes calling it that. I just think that over the years I've had to tell this story so much, because I'm from the Netherlands and Erica is Australian, that I'm kind of sick of telling the story again and again, over and over and over again. So I kind of wanted to make a definitive video to kind of just be like, okay, this is the story, and then if someone is, in my daily life, it's like, oh, so how did you and your partner met? How did that come about? I just give them the link to this video. No, but I'm always telling everyone how happy I am in my relationship and how hard we both worked at it to make it work over such a distance and being together, even though like, I was born there, she's born here, with, two worlds apart. But basically, Eric and I, we met at 16 years old, and we met in the most anticlimactic way possible. We met through Steam, and what's weird is that, like, when people ask me in personal life, and they're like, oh, they know me, but they don't know about my relationship, and they say like, oh, how did you guys meet? I will always just say, oh, we met through playing video games. We met through playing video games, and that's it. That's it. We met through playing video games. And people go, oh yeah, cool. That's a nice way of just being like, to just not have to explain. Because most people wouldn't understand, especially older people won't understand what I'm about to say, right? So the way we met was that one day I was with my best friend in my house. This is 2015. I'm 16 years old. And I'm like, just playing video games, having a fun time, we're just hanging out. And this was around the time that I had just been starting to kind of build my collection of video games on Steam. And I was just looking at some games like to buy and whatever. Anyway, I was looking through, and then I saw this game called Outlast, which to this day I still haven't played, which is funny. I still haven't played it, even though I bought it 10 years ago. So I was looking at this page for this game, and I was reading the reviews, and there was one person who had made a review, which I thought was funny. I thought the review was funny. Now, I have to preface this by saying I never ever add people online. I don't add people to my friends list that I don't know, that I've never met, or I haven't had an interaction with. I never talk to strangers. I'm way too antisocial for that. I like spending time by myself or with my close friends. But for some reason, I don't know why, I don't know what happened. You can call it fate, you can call it an intervention from God, you can call it random chance, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me. But basically, I saw this review, I thought it was funny, so I didn't know who the person was. I went to the person's profile, and I clicked add friend, even though I had never met this person, didn't know who this person was. I clicked add friend, just from a funny haha review. Makes no sense. And I didn't think about it, And then a day later, I'm at home playing video games, and then I get a message. I get a message from this person. They've added me as a friend. And we talked for 15 minutes. Then the next day, we were like, oh, let's hang out tomorrow, we felt the other person was nice. I still remember this conversation so well. And then that second day, when we just started talking, we talked over the Steam chat for 12 hours straight. We played video games, I remember, what did we play? We played Payday 2, I remember that. We We played a couple of different games. I can't remember exactly what. We spent 12 hours talking. The day after that, we spent 12 hours talking. And every single day we spent... And then we went and ended up talking on Discord. Not Discord, sorry. Skype. Yeah, I know. This is when Skype was still around. We talked on Skype. We talked on... what's it called? And I had found out, obviously, that it was a woman. It was Erica. And we were just talking, like, on WhatsApp. We were talking every single day. That was pretty crazy. Like, it was... I said woman, a girl, right? Same age as me. And I was just like, that's so weird, that doesn't really happen. And we were just talking every single day. And it just ended up working so well. And, we were 16 and, I hadn't, at that point, I have had one relationship before that lasted like 11 months when I was like 15. But, at that point I hadn't been in a relationship for like at least like 8 months, and it was like the end of September, the 23rd, and I remember that day we were talking, like, you have to understand, we've been talking non-stop every single day from the beginning of August to the end of September, 2 months straight, every single day, 12 hours a day. I was like, thank God that it was summer holiday, because I would have, later that year, I would just skip school so much just to talk, and she would do the same thing. And so then basically I asked her, will you be my girlfriend or whatever. I can't remember if I said that, but I think I did, something like that. I don't really remember how that went. And then, yeah, she said yes, and then we were together, but of course, then it's like, okay, well, we're on the other side of the world. How the hell are we gonna meet, Fast forward like 6 months, and my parents kind of had clued in that I was talking to someone every day, and they kind of realized quickly, but I was kind of being secretive about it, not because I was embarrassed or anything, but because I knew she was Australian, and I didn't want my parents to be like, oh my god, that's never gonna work. I didn't want them to be negative about it. And then eventually I said she lives in Australia, and they found out, and they were like, whatever. They weren't really thinking much about it, I don't think, because it's so far away and it doesn't seem very realistic, right? But then one day, this was like February, I think, or like it was like January, February 2016. My dad was basically like, hey, just go there. You need to go there, because otherwise the relationship isn't going to work out. So he just got a ticket for himself, my stepmom, and for me. We went over there in April 2016, and my dad was just basically like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Otherwise it'll just be a fun trip. Whatever, and we can have a good time. And then we go home. But that's not what happened. So basically, we got there. We flew all the way from Switzerland to where my dad was living at the time, to Australia. And it was wild. Like, the day that we had dinner at the hotel in Brisbane here. We slept and we woke up, and then I walked through the city by myself. I was 17, and I was going to meet this person. I went to the other side of the world to meet this person. It was bizarre. And then I got there, and we got there like, we both were late. Because she was going to go on the train, and the trains weren't going. She lived like outside of the city, and I was in the city, but obviously I'd never been there and I didn't know where to go. And so we both got there late. And then we both worried that the other person was going to think, oh, this person is not, legitimate, whatever. But then we met, everything worked out, and we spent the whole day going around Brisbane. And then her dad picked us up, went to her house, spent some time there. Then her dad brought us all the way to the Gold Coast, where we would stay a week. And then that was it. We were going to stay there a week together, and then I was going to go back home. But what my dad did was, we asked, after a few days, we had so much fun, everything was really good, and we asked my dad and my stepmom, we said, listen, can you please extend the ticket so I can stay here? Because it was like a spring holiday anyway. So I was like, please, like, let me stay. And I ended up staying there 2 weeks longer at their house, and we went to Australia Zoo and Noosa and all kinds. So that was all great. Then I went home, and a month later, she came to our house for 3 months. It was like September, and then she went home for a month. She came back for 3 months. She stayed with us for 6 months because she had already finished high school. She's a little bit older than me. And so it was really good. Like, it was really good. And then we're like, but now, then the fear started to set in. Okay, I'm 18. We're both 18. What do we do now? Because one of us will have to move, right? One of us will have to move. We can't, one of us will have to go to the other. Otherwise, the relationship can't continue. And that was a difficult moment because we didn't know what to do. We had no money. We had been working, but we'd just been spending money on each other while she was there. And so what now? So basically, February rolls around, 2017. I come here. My dad and I saw out the visa stuff. And then I was here. I had a temporary residency, staying at her mom's house, or her mom and dad's house. And then we went, after like 5 months of living there, we got our own place. Not this one, but a different apartment in the same building. Made friends, I had a job here and all these kinds of things. It was good. But it was hard, because we were really struggling at the time sorting out life. We're so young, 18 years old, living on our own. Living out of home at 18 on the other side of the world with no family and nothing around. That was super hard. It was super, super hard. But then we actually went back home to my house after a year of being there. 2018 to mid 2019, we're actually back in the Netherlands because I had to go home because I was like mentally really, really struggling. And I mean, from the videos you've seen, I'm still struggling now. But my life is in terms of like living, I'm doing just fine. I can afford the things I want to afford. I can, in general, not really, but I can, I'm working hard, so that's why I can, and I don't have debt, so I can allow myself to buy stuff I like. You see me buy the big Blu-ray collections. Anyway, point is, I'm drifting. That it was a really intense time back then, and there was some struggles I had some struggles with my dad, and this was all pre-COVID, right? This was 2019. We went back June 2019, and what we didn't know, COVID was going to come, and so then I didn't see my family for 3 years. June 2019 to June 2022, because Australia was locked down, I couldn't leave. It was horrible, 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 horrible. Erica lost her job in that time. I lost my job. We had to find different jobs, and things were just horrible, super difficult. Right before the end of 2019, December 2019, right before the end, before the beginning of 2020, we got this apartment. We've been in this apartment for 5 years now. Oh my god. I just realized, I just did the counting, and we've been in this apartment for well over 5 years, like 5.5 years almost. So yeah, we've been here a long time, and we've always felt like for the past 2 years that it's been time for a change, but everything is expensive, and we want something we have such a nice place, why would we give it up for something shitty? When we work so hard to keep this place. We had an opportunity at the end of last year to buy this place, but we've kind of felt really comfortable not being in debt, and I don't really want to get a mortgage for a house that doesn't even have a yard. You know what I mean? If I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to buy a house where I can have kids. I'm not going to have an apartment. I'm not going to get a mortgage for an apartment. I'm not going to do that. I just can't do that to myself or Erica. Yeah, things are better than they have ever been, to be honest, because things have just developed. And even though personally I've had more and more struggles because I feel like I'm at an age now where I need to be much further ahead, but then I think about things and I try to put things in perspective. Okay, I haven't been able to travel around the world like some of my friends have. One of my friends is in Japan right now, one of my friends is in America right now. These kinds of things I've always wanted to do, but I haven't been able to because I've been committed to this relationship. I've been committed to living in Australia and getting my citizenship here, etc. That's all worked out now. So what's next, right? It's having kids and having a house and blah, blah, blah. But okay, that's all great. But I've always thought, well, I'm missing out. But I'm not, because at the same time, those friends that are traveling everywhere, they don't have a relationship, or they haven't had a relationship of this length and this strength, right? Because truly, because of the way we met, I think our relationship is really strong because we're best friends. At the core of it, we're best friends. And I wanted to, I haven't been married for 60 years, But I've been with my wife now for 10 years. And I just want to say that I think one of the core elements of having a really successful, strong relationship where you can really, really lean on each other and you can really feel like you're a team. You know, every moment that you're together feels, it's never a problem. It feels natural. You can be natural, say anything, do anything to a certain degree that, you know, to a reasonable degree. And it's just normal and it just works. And that's what a true relationship of and true love is about, I think. Being close friends. Because, like, if you asked me to describe Erica, I wouldn't. Lover is not it's a weird. I don't like that. I think she's my friend. She's my companion. She's my partner. She's my wife, right? Whenever I found out anything, news, right? Whether it's bad, whether it's good, whether it's funny, whether it's interesting, whether it's pointless, I just want to tell her. I just want to tell her straight away because it's just anything that I know, anything that I hear, I just need to tell her, not anyone else. I don't care. And I'm sure my mom and dad, maybe not so much, but other people, I'm probably very annoyed that I don't ever pick up my phone. I don't ever respond to messages. I mean, I do, but I take my time because I don't like having my phone on me. The only person I will immediately respond to is Erica and my mom and dad because I just can't be bothered because I find that she's my best friend and I never tire of being around her and I love spending time with her. A good foundation of a strong relationship is being friends with one another. And being able to share everything with each other, you know. I think that's super important. We've been together a long time, and it's been good. There have been tough moments, sure, yeah. I would probably say the toughest part of our relationship, if I had to think of the toughest moments, probably the 2018 to 2022 stretch. So the first, 3 years, there weren't really any problems because we just met, you know, we've been together for a couple of years, everything's good. After 3 to 4 years to about the 7 years, the kind of the 3 years in the middle, because it was compounded by so many things, right? So personal problems, family problems, health problems, COVID, right? The distance, money, financial problems, all of these things combined, and that makes a relationship really hard to deal with. And often you want to just say, no, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm leaving, I'm going back home. That's not going to do anything for either of us. That's not going to fix a problem. That's just going to make it worse. So we're a team and we work together, and that's what it's about. I don't know if you guys thought this video was interesting, but I wanted to kind of talk about it because it's something that's been on my mind for a while, to just kind of say from my point of view, my experience, what it was like. I thought it was really, really good. In the beginning, it was really good, and it's always been good, but it's just, there have been times where it was hard, but at the end of the day, let me put it like this. In the past, if we've ever had a fight, because everyone has fights, but if we ever had a fight and it's in the daytime or in the morning, one of us has to go to work, by the time the other person comes home, whether it's me or her or both of us, at the end of the day, we just want to see each other no matter what we thought about. It's already it's in the past, it's forgotten. And we can just pick up where we left off beforehand, and that's so nice. I think, you know, Bart, one of my closest friends from primary school, you know, since we were literally 3-4 years old, he's coming over after I come back from my trip. He's coming back with me to Australia for 3 weeks, which is lovely. I can't wait. I'm very excited for him, the first time he's leaving Europe, so it's very exciting. But with him, it's the same. We sometimes we don't talk for 3 months, 6 months back during COVID time, and we don't talk for that long. And then when we continue our conversation, we just pick it up where we left off, and it feels completely natural. There is no pretending. I think that's really important about relationships that you have to understand. And I think a lot of problems with a lot of young people, if you're under the age of 30 now, even above 30, but I'm saying specifically for younger people, a lot of people feel like they have to pretend, right? They have to pretend to like something. They have to pretend, they feel like they have to pretend to be into something. And that's stupid. I don't think that's not going to build a healthy relationship with anyone, whether it's your friends or your partner. It's going to create problems in the long run. And I think just being as real as possible, even if it makes someone upset, even if it makes someone angry, just explain why, and then, you know, if you really love each other, you can deal with it, you know? Just be real with one another. I think that's the most important thing. Be real. Be genuine. Be as genuine as you can be. I've already rambled for a while now. I'm gonna shut my mouth. I've got more packing to do, you know. It's you can probably see the boxes there, but all the rooms are already empty. Everything has been packed away. I'm excited about this new apartment. I'm excited to have a fresh new apartment. There was something else I was going to mention in this video, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, like this is gonna be the last video of this apartment, which is intense. Like I've had every video that I've made on this channel has been in this apartment, so it's going to be weird now. From tomorrow onwards, every video is going to be made in that apartment. And I know it's just, you know, it's just, the apartment is just like over there. I've just been in this room making these videos the entire time. And now that's not the case. Now we're going to go somewhere else. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what's ahead. I'm finding that I'm loving making these videos more and more. To be creative is what I'm trying to say. Often in the past, I have felt the creative drive was more of a thing that scared me a lot because it requires challenging yourself and stepping out of your comfort zone. And now that's becoming more and more natural. I'm becoming more and more comfortable. Yeah, anyway, thank you for your support, and thank you for watching this channel for the past 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years. Goodbye, apartment. And I'll see you guys soon in the new place. When we're properly moved in. I think tomorrow and Friday we'll just have to focus on setting everything up and putting all the furniture together. Oh, that's not going to be fun. Alright, anyway. Thank you, and I'll see you around. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll be sure to add some pictures throughout the video to kind of illustrate the moments in our relationship that were significant. I'm sure Erica will love that. But yeah, thank you, and take care.